Hey guys! If you are looking to boost your German skills, you're in the right place. Today, I'll be spilling all my secrets about how I topped the B1, B2, and C1 level German exams. These tips aren't just about passing the exams, they are about building real fluency and confidence in German. And if you want any specific exam tips, just leave a comment and I'll make a video for that. Alright, let's jump right in. Tip number 1, self-talk. Yes, I know it sounds a little weird, but talking to yourself in German is actually really helpful. Just start having conversations with yourself about any topic, anything that you're thinking of. And the best part about this is that there's no pressure. If you stumble on a sentence, just redo the sentence. If you don't know a word, just look it up and just have these conversations again and again. This way, you are training your brain to think and express itself in German. And believe me, within a few weeks, you will be so much more fluent. Tip number 2, immerse yourself in German. And by that, I mean really start living German. So, if you are someone like me who enjoys watching TV, I watch an embarrassing amount of TV, then just start watching TV in German. So, back in the day when I was learning German, I had found this website that had all TV shows dubbed in German. So, I just started watching my favorite shows, Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, in German.
Ach, pass auf. Schere schneidet Papier, Papier bedeckt Stein, Stein zerquetscht Echse, Echse vergiftet Spock. Spock zertrümmert Schere, Schere köpft Echse, Echse frisst Papier. Papier widerlegt Spock, Spock verdampft Stein. Und wie gewöhnlich, Stein schleift Schere.
And believe me, that was so helpful. I even started dreaming in German at one point just because I used to binge watch German shows so much. Or if TV is not your thing, if you scroll on Instagram too much, start following German accounts or accounts that teach German. And on this note, I would also like to mention that I have started my German channel at German with Rahi, and I make small funny videos about German. So that is also my way of engaging with the language and immersing myself in the language. And you could do something like that as well. If you enjoy making content, make videos about German. The entire point is that you should be doing what you love in German. If it's cooking, you should start watching YouTube videos, recipe videos in German. Whatever it is that you enjoy, start doing that in German. At one point, German should be a part of your life. You shouldn't have to necessarily set out a time in the day to study German. It's just that, when you're scrolling on Instagram, there's German. When you're cooking, there's German. When you're entertaining yourself watching TV, there's German. That's how easy and immersive your language learning should be. Tip number 3, change your phone language. Now, this tip is just building on the immersion tip, but it's such a small change and it leads to such a massive difference. It's like you are putting yourself in the German mindset the entire day, and you will start learning, small words like wischen, tippen, Benachrichtigung. All these words start becoming a part of your daily vocabulary. Tip number 4, engage with native speakers. I know we already covered the self-talk aspect of practicing, but talking to native speakers is just as important, if not more. Real life conversations are the fastest way to accelerate your language learning process. The more you talk to native speakers, the more you'll understand their ways, the Umgangssprache, you'll start understanding their accent, and you'll become way more comfortable with the language. There are a lot of online communities, Discord channels, Telegram channels, where you can interact with real Germans and people learning German from all over the world. So sign up for that. But if you absolutely don't have access to language learning communities and native Germans, then one thing that you can do in today's day and age is use ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a voice chat feature, so you can just start having conversations with ChatGPT in German. Hallo, ich mache heute mein erstes YouTube-Video. Hast du irgendwelche Tipps für mich?
Hallo Rahi, wie aufregend, dass du dein erstes YouTube-Video planst. Hier sind ein paar Tipps für den Anfang.
Just like this, you can have a conversation with ChatGPT. You can ask for tips. You can rant about your day. You can just talk about anything with ChatGPT without the fear of being judged. And you can even ask it to correct your mistakes, to tell you where to improve. Just give it a shot. It's almost like talking to a real person without having the anxiety of making mistakes. Tip number 5, build your vocabulary. The more words you know, the better your language is. Yes, grammar is important, but vocabulary is, in my opinion, more important. You might miss an article here and there, you might miss dative and accusative, but if you don't know the vocabulary, you're not going to be able to communicate what you wanted to communicate in the first place. I have a golden tip for you to improve your vocabulary. When I was doing my B1, B2, C1, we had something called the Glossar book or word charts. And there we had the German word, its English translation, and example sentences. So, what I did was I used to record each German word, its English translation, and the example sentences. And I have done this for, I would say, more than 500 words. And then every night before going to sleep, I would just listen to these words. You wouldn't believe how helpful that was. Just, I don't know by what magic, but when you listen to these words while sleeping, they somehow just go into your subconscious mind. This one time I was in Germany and someone said the word Bescherung, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what the Bescherung meant. I didn't know what it meant. And then I just, said the Bescherung in my brain, and instantly, involuntarily, I said gift giving ceremony. And then I remembered, oh yes, this was in my recordings, and somehow it has been etched in my memory. Because I used to listen to those recordings so many times, it was just somewhere present inside. So that is the magic of listening to your recordings before you go to sleep every night. And there's one more secret benefit to these recordings. So when I used to record myself, I was still learning. So I used to make mistakes. I used to make pronunciation mistakes. I used to make mistakes at reading it out. And I was kind of a perfectionist when it came to these recordings. So what I would do is, if I made a mistake, I would do the entire recording all over again. And I think one recording would have around like 20 to 30 words. So it was essentially like I was learning those words when I was doing the recording, and I was revising them when I used to hear the recordings while sleeping. This is such a powerful tool, and you will be thanking me if you actually use this tip. Building on the vocabulary tip, there is one more thing that I think makes your language just so much more beautiful and refined, and it is the Nomen-Verb Verbindungen or idioms. So instead of just saying benutzen, saying in Anspruch nehmen just sounds so much more beautiful and poetic. And German has so many of these Nomen-Verb Verbindungen. In Betracht ziehen, zur Verfügung stehen, just so many of these. So if you can find a list of all of these Nomen-Verb Verbindungen and learn them, I mean, of course, you're not going to learn all of them, but the more you know, the better. Build your vocabulary and focus on Nomen-Verb Verbindungen, and your language would drastically improve. So these were my top 5 tips, and believe me, they have been an absolute game changer for me. If you found this video helpful as well, please like and subscribe. This was my first YouTube video ever, and I will be posting more such helpful videos. So let me know in the comments what kind of content you would like to see. Cheers!